changes, right? So it should be an interesting one, but we start off stage 3 with a bang. One of the most sought-after teams to watch to see how this new team is looking. G2 are about to kick off their stint for stage 3, and hopefully they can make something happen. Reykjavik is a distant memory, and now we're on to Berlin. Yeah, that's the only thing that have to be in their minds right now, and starting off with good foot on this one. Artix immediately takes up the duel. It's going to be Nuki getting her first blood for the team. Didn't feel how long ago that he was pulling out those kills for Heretics, but he's moved on over, keeping that pressure up on A, and actually gets the double kill. It's full map control at this point, and G2 are doing this cleanly. It's almost like watching Harlem Globetrotters this early on in a tournament, really. And the Menace Phantom are going to be struggling with this as Nuki gets a third and gets taken down. Yeah, it looks like it was going to be a flawless, but Stew didn't have the same feeling as us. But the round is pretty much for G2 right now. And yeah, Mixwell finishes it. And pretty easy start is what we expect, but it's good. It's a good start. It's worth adding that as the days go on, we're not going to be watching G2 every day for the next 4 days. There's a command in my stream at least, but you want to be looking at Mitchman's stream, Lothar, Pansy, all of these games. They'll be switching and swapping who we're focusing on each day. And G2 have a really tough bracket. They've got the No Poach Please roster that's got Eccles and Aussie in that team. They've got Excel, they've got London United that could maybe add a little bit of a... Yeah, Betis as well. There's a lot of teams as part of bracket G, I guess you could call it, that could be scary, but none more so than G2, you'd imagine. Yeah, exactly. And let's see how they do in this new round that has started. Look at Mixwell waiting on the terrorist spawn, attacker spawn, but the attack is imminent on its side A. Kellogg's gonna dash in, and it's mostly cleaning up, dashing out just to not give himself up. One of the things I really liked about watching Kellogg's, I did a bit of a look at to see what he was like as a player, because I never watched that much Megastitute. He's a good duelist in the fact that he takes those fights and wins them, but he never oversteps the boundary. If he gets a bit too deep, he's not afraid to use that utility to dash out. But what is the general feeling of the audience, like the Spanish scene, when it comes to Avova and Nuki moving from Heretics to G2? Because that's two big Spanish orgs, right? So
yeah. We knew it was a pretty big fight. Yeah, it was a fight between two, really, I'd say the most important teams in Spain. But at the end, G2 won is one thing that they like doing. And they changed the full roster except for Mixwell. Everybody is hoping and expecting great things of this roster. They may have had too little time, I'd say, for, creating a new strategy, if needed, around this new roster, especially with Mixwell changing that role. But I think this should be fine.
Yeah, speaking of Mixwell, he goes down early. That toxic screen isn't going to be much help for Kellogg's as he's looking to try and push to B. Avova is just behind, has the spike. Looks like it's going to be that kind of hit. And with only 4 players alive for G2 at this point, still holding on to Spectres. It's a bonus round for them, so they're not going to be too fussed if it goes wrong. But they don't really have much cover to break themselves in. The wall does go up, and the decay is going to start to chip away at Avova. He has a bit more time. He's put some damage into Sty. And they're just looking for that kill before they even go for this entry. Lots of utility there to try and stall it. Kellogg's wants to try and lead the line, sneak his way in. The spraying and praying is there. Nuki is going down in the second. But Kellogg's has slipped his way into the back line. They have worked out roughly where he is. And Natson still loses the duel regardless. This is the kind of player that you definitely want to keep an eye on. And now you start to see why G2 might have wanted him on that roster.
Yeah, and those Frenchies were smart enough to delay that plan. They were not enabling it for G2, but they made it. And of course, Kellogg's was completely the main character of this round. The round that we give to them, that bonus and the upgrade of all the guns. I mean, that tier 1 against what is going to be an eco for the French team. This sounds like a 4-0 to me.
Should be a clean one. It's a tough opponent to go up near enough straight away for Le Menace Phantom.
Right here.
And I remember when we did the qualifiers last time, the first game I casted was Fnatic with Durka's edition. He was like 0-10 to begin with. And look how great he was on the international stage. Kellogg's is 5-0. It's a dream debut so far for him. He's not looking to add to it. It's mostly his teammates, but against this eco in the hands of LMF, it's looking likely that it should be a clean one.
Yeah, it should be clean, and it's gonna be. Look at Kellogg's and his positioning right here. Let's see if he checks mid, and he's gonna, and I think he's gonna clean it pretty easily. Yeah, one. Oof, nice. Stu, I think is the luckiest player on the French team so far, but at least, yeah, Colement is gonna finish this round, and yeah, as we said, pretty easy for them. And as you were saying, Kellogg's with a great start is definitely what he needs for the rest of the month, what the team needs, because you know, when you're changing your main duelist, your Jet, they need to be confident. And if it's from the very beginning, it's well best for you.
There's a lot of people, I guess, are kind of maybe confused and a bit shocked to see Mixwell move from a duelist Jet role to playing Sentinel. I mean, he played a lot of Viper way back when, is what we mentioned, but him playing Killjoy Cypher, is that something that you vibe with?
I'm willing to see. I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Might be seeing it a bit later on. It depends how much they like this Viper strategy. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Mixwell wanted to go for it. Like, just play Viper all the time. And he's like, I've been wanting to do this for years. What do you mean? Like, I'm totally down for this. This is a grand old start for G2, but it is to be expected. First game of the tournament, and really it's about separating the men from the boys. And G2, whilst they haven't necessarily done all that well in the Valorant Champions Tour, certainly in comparison to 2020, overall in the Ignition phase, it's still a team that you have to respect. And Kellogg's, well, somebody's just walked past him and they've completely missed him. There he catches him, but gets traded out anyway.
It's Stu that gets the kill. Boba that's already planting the spike, and he just ooh! Hold on a minute. Oh, that is so unlucky, so unlucky.
Yeah, that operator was only going to have a short shelf life for LMF. Stye being able to sneak through. Coldament has got a better angle. Might be able to see just the outside. Doesn't even need to. It's a nice flick and a 1v1, and Coldament clutching out. The player IGL from Ascend seems to really complete the roster overall, but I mean, it's early days yet. But so far, this G2 team is looking decent, understandably good.
Yeah, and talking about the movement from Mixwell from that duelist role into some other roles, as we were saying, I think it's pretty smart because he is indeed a very smart player. And I think that at least right now in Europe, it's easier to find a good Jet than finding a good Sentinel or a good controller. I think it's, you know, you need someone experienced, and that I think Mixwell is the right guy to do it.
It's a natural progression, I feel. It takes a lot for a player to kind of go, there's some young sterling talent coming through, I want to support them more. Fnatic's another good example. Doma did it with Durka, he was happy to play second fiddle. Now Kellogg's with the Bladestorm isn't afraid to go in for the fight, knows that Natsun only had a sheriff, so quite happy to go very overeager. Coldament knows that he's beaten into two players, still going to try and take the jewels, separates them one by one, has to reload, brings out the ghost. Just going to try and survive as Nuki's there to help out. The likeliness of this being a quick 2-0 is incredibly high. I think for the first couple of games it will be. But like we sort of mentioned before, there's a lot of scary teams on the horizon. Maybe not in name, like Batiste is a team that maybe hasn't done massively well in VCT, but they've been together a while, and G2... it's still early days for them, so a lot of their strategy and playbook is probably not going to be as defined as some of the other teams we might see, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think they've just had more time to prepare for this moment. Let's hope that G2 can perform and deliver what we expect of them, because obviously, as always, I would say, everybody's eyes are on G2.
The second time Mixwell's died in mid. Stye's done a pretty decent job of being able to shut down some of that mid pressure, but I don't think it's going to phase too much onto G2. They have the Resurrect, probably one of the reasons why the Eldreds come in. Hunter's Fury's dedicated as well. Doesn't quite catch onto the tail of Jet, but the third shot and the final one, make sure that she goes down. Mid control is there. The Resurrect could bring me back in Mixwell.
Yeah, it could.
He's going round the, he's going walkabout.
Pretty easily. Ooh. Oh, that Hunter's Fury can be so hurtful, but it's not gonna hit him. Oh no, that is so unlucky. Still 4v4. Oh, Nuki. He's just too smart for this.
Natsun wants to be able to get this operator out, but can't even. Only manages to one kill with it so far in the series. Now all up to Artie to try and find a way in. I think he's still trying to work out what site the spike's being planted, but
No,
one
I
or
think
the
it's
other, seeing if he's not going to get caught out. But also another thing to add with Kelox is he loves to lurk, which you don't typically see that much from a Jet. They usually like leading a team on an execute, but Kelox, he will just go for mad flanks onto people. He's certainly, if you could go back and watch those Megastatue, like this is to Twitch chat generally, is just go back and watch those games because yeah, he had some amazing performances then, and I'm sure he's going to add on to it here.
Yeah, but I think specifically on this map with Nuki as a duelist duo, the pressure that they put in on the map is more than enough, and we still find, as you were saying, Mixwell dying on mid, just trying to even create more space for the team. But it's working, and I feel like this game is going to be extremely fast.
Map after this in the best of 3 is fine, so we're more likely to see some more of Mixwell.
Jesus, this is beautiful.
They're working this nicely. They've gone finding similar success to Kelox's Nuki. Usually you see him on the Raze, but he did pick out a little bit of Reyna. I remember that Ninjas in Pajamas game where instead of playing the Raze, he played the Reyna and absolutely bamboozled any plans that Nip were trying to deal with. Now Natson has the Bladestorm in hand. He's going to get peeked out from distance and still loses that duel against Nuki, 8-0.
Yeah. As easy as we expected? Well, yes, and for the part, no. Let's talk a little bit about Coldamenta. We've been talking about Kelox, also Aboba and Nuki. But I think Coldamenta, he started in Movistar Riders, then he changed into Rie, Raise Your Edge. He ended up in Ascent, and he ended up winning the Masters 1. And then G2 knocks on your door and says, you know, why don't you come here? You know, why don't you come with Mixwell, make a Spanish duo, and let's, you know, let's be the G2 that we were last year. And obviously he has said yes. He's a great Sova, and there's no way there's a Hunter's Fury from him that doesn't get at least 1 kill.
Might not even be necessary with how well this firepower of G2 starting to show up.
Yeah.
Is more just a stretching of the legs for this team. Get the officials in, feel confident, take the duels. Really, like, Nuki was a great entry when it comes to taking all that space with the Raze. He's doing similar stuff with the Reyna, but just winning flat-out duels.
Yeah.
And Sty, the success in mid has continued, but he's still in a 3 versus 4 overall.
Yeah, like, I don't think the setup from the defenders is bad. They start every round mostly with the same thing, but it's working the first 15 seconds. Then is what you say, right? It's just the duels that they cannot win. And this is not just any random guy that you found in ranked. This is G2. This is new G2.
G2 2.2. Like G3
3.0.
at this point.
3.0,
It's,
right?
yeah, it's
kind of.
It's
Maybe
G3. It's a full upgrade. It's the it's probably like the G2 Pro now or something like that, because companies don't up their numbers anymore. They always make it super complicated. But anyway, G2, yeah, 9-0 up. There's not really too much to analyze here. It's just a stop, they're already dead kind of moment. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of games like this, and even though it's incredibly one-sided, it's still almost nice to watch G2 looking to be in menacing form again. It feels like it was so long ago.
Yeah. Kelox is still, like, he creates a lot of space for them. He opens a lot of angles, and it's just working. Ooh. Mixwell again dying on mid.
He's not afraid to posture, is he, Kelox? To go even further on. Isn't going to win that duel, gliding into the sightline. A pity flan, but it's traded through, and yeah, rest.
Yeah, it's just, the firepower from G2 is just too strong, especially when you have this duelist duo. There's pretty much nothing you can do. Like, the setup, it's okay. You're contrasting what's happening on mid, but then the rest, you cannot take those duels. Because, you have to take them, but you just can't win them.
I think that's one of the key things as well. Durka loves to do it on, I feel like the biggest Fnatic fan just saying that, but Durka, you see it a lot, just to jump up to the top of B main, and it's a, come fight me, because if you don't, I'll take all the space, and if you fight me, I'll just win. There's another triple kill for him. And yeah, this has been a dream debut for 4 out of 5 of the players, to be honest. We've never seen Nuki in Avova. Oh no, well, we have, but it hasn't been streamed, right? The only game that we saw G2 play with this roster back when Piff was on it was for the qualifiers for
the Ryzen series.
I want to say, yeah, and that game wasn't streamed, and they lost it.
That was so unlucky that we couldn't stream that, actually. Everybody was pretty sad, especially us casters for LVP. But, you know, it just happened like that. 2 last rounds of these attack from G2, and it looks like it's just gonna be more of the same. They're not hesitating, they shouldn't have to. Or Mixwell dies again the first.
Mixwell has been the first death a couple of times.
He's still a Jet at heart, you know?
Yeah, he needs to be told to rein it back in. He's just trying to dash in.
He needs to be told that you need smokes on ice blocks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, Kellogg seems to be doing just fine on his own, putting down this utility. More expensive utility, but it doesn't matter too much. The Breach player with the Operator pulls out the Rolling Thunder, but there's no follow-up there. And it makes sense. LMF need to be a little bit more patient and deliberate with these attacks because they just don't know where G2 are playing from this position. Look how forward-facing they are.
Oh, God. Oh, if Pitiflan would have come earlier, this would have been a whole different deal. Kellogg playing this.
Nuki actually trying to distance himself, gets that information, takes onto one, peeks onto the other. It's a 1 versus 1 up against Artie. And that first round does eventually come in. It's not going to be the perfect game, the perfect debut for this new G2. But still, 10-1 as we get into the last round of this half still isn't a bad way to end it.
No, not a bad at all. We were seeing that Bridge is the ultimate to delay the plant. We said there was no follow-up, but the follow-up was late, but it was good enough. Nuki didn't have bullets enough to finish with the French player. And that's the first round for them, so let's give them that. It's not, we have to say, it's not easy to face G2 so early in the competition, so early in the qualifiers, because you know who they are, you know all of these players' names. They look scary when they are on the other team.
I think every team that's in this qualifier is probably a little bit scared of G2, so it's completely understandable. Somebody has to deal with them, though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is the Phantom Menace French translation that has to go up against it.
It's really sad in this side A again. A side's probably their favorite. I mean, they're doing much of both. I don't think they're thinking too much. They're just going. You know, I don't think with this score you have to think too much to get the rounds on your side.
I think Spigen is still the same in Spanish, and it seems to have made its way across from FaZe Clan to G2 here, but there's a reform about it. The triple kill comes in. The 4K would have been nice, but Natson manages to flick on with the Operator before Mixwell claims him. Now Artie last alive again, clutched out the last round. He's at least able to get 1 of the 4 surviving members left, but there's not much time. He's put under super pressure, and Coldamenta with a classic ends the half, 11-1. Not a bad start on Icebox for this new G2.
Yeah, and I mean, not on this match, we're not going to see it because of the result, but retaking that conversation about the economy, I think that the snowball that teams can make during one side is just huge, and it's much more important to save guns, to save abilities, to save just, you know, be more cautious than before. They don't have this problem right now because of the results, but it's definitely gonna be a subject in the future.
Who's going to end with the most kills at Nuki and Kellogg's, though? Both 18 kills, 5 deaths and 6 deaths. That's the only thing that seems to really separate them.
1 assist.
Yeah, just the assists. But to be fair, these guys aren't looking for assists. They're looking for frags. And now we get to see how disciplined they can be on this defense. I say disciplined. Kellogg's has absolutely pushed away. And that's a lot of great information they're able to grab. But Mixwell's ready to try and pincer on them too.
Yeah, Mixwell and Coldamenta taking a lot of info on this B long, and Kellogg just has the whole side. Pressure's gonna keep coming, and Nuki's just waiting. Maybe he wins.
Mixwell trying to take more fights. You can take him off the duelist, but you can't take the duelist out of him. He's still going in for the fights. And he gets the triple kill in the end, holding close. Match point for the first map of this best of 3 series. Do want to pose a question to mostly the people in your Twitch chat, Kakuka, because it's in emote mode. Yay or nay, G2's going to qualify out of this bracket? Yay or nay, I think is a good question to pose.
Oh, yeah.
Because they look, I mean, they look good, but I think it's early on.
Yeah, this is easy mode for them.
Yeah, we haven't
be.
put them in front of a top opponent to see how this G2 does when things aren't looking as comfortable. When they're forced to eco and when things go a little bit wrong. But yeah, I think they still look probably favorites in their group.
Yeah, probably, but we'll still have to see. You said there was a bit of a lack of time, preparation. I think it will be enough. Oh, I think Milky wants the title. Oh.
They're really clambering to try and get these kills. Kellogg's not afraid to try and get through Mixwell Snakebite to take the fight, and a triple kill to